Hey everyone. I spent most of the day grading your week 2 personalizing priorities assignments, and um, I want to talk to you a little bit about it. This assignment I think is extremely important because it really gives you the chance to sit down and look at how you're spending your time and making sure that how you're spending your time aligns with what's important to you. So you were asked to rank your top 5 priorities in order of importance and then evaluate whether or not what you do during the day really reflects your number one priority, and then talk to me about balance. And so, really, what I would have assumed is that you outlining your day in this weekly calendar for me would reflect whatever you've decided is your number one priority, you spending the most time doing that, and then kind of the trickle down effect from there. And so maybe there was a disconnect on that, but that certainly wasn't happening. My second expectation would be for you to demonstrate that you understood what was discussed in the lecture. And this lecture for me had two big takeaways. One, when talking about procrastination, one of the ways that we can really reduce the amount of procrastination we have is by breaking tasks that seem overwhelming into smaller, manageable pieces and then assigning when those pieces should be completed or giving them a due date. That's separate from the study cycle, which is also really important. The study cycle is really a way for you to interact with the content that you are supposed to be learning and retaining and tested on a regular basis before lecture, remaining active, coming up with ways for you to keep yourself engaged in the lecture, whether it be by taking notes or writing down questions that you have during the lecture, or doing a summary at the end of the lecture and seeing if you get the 5 key terms that your professor talked about. And then looking at that again. I'm talking to you right now after you've gone through the week 3 content. So really that post-lecture prep is all about testing your comprehension. Did you understand what the professor, oh my gosh, I can't talk, it's 9:40 at night, that's why, what the professor was talking about and trying to teach you in that lecture? Because if you didn't, what's the point of rewriting those notes? There is none. What's the point of making flashcards if you have no idea what you learned? That is your opportunity to say, holy cow, this professor just lectured for an hour and 20 minutes and I literally know nothing. I have to take the responsibility to go back and figure out where that disconnect was. I need to ask questions. I need to use office hours, right? If you do that on a regular basis, you are not going to put yourself in a position where you feel like you have to cram right before an exam, and you're not going to feel stressed. The procrastination, I mean, I don't want to say it goes away because I feel like we all do it sometimes, but I think if you come up with a system like that and you're changing your neural pathways, engaging in that neuroplasticity about being active before and after the lecture, you're really doing yourself a favor. And that wasn't shown on a good portion of the assignments that were listed. Some of you just put class, some of you put study, homework. What is that? I have no idea. And I know that I'm asking a lot. Really, I'm not. This is your assignment. You're doing it because you need to, but I want you to be specific. I want you to say review or prep for bio lecture. And afterwards, I want you to say, testing my comprehension on bio content. This can happen whether or not your lecture is synchronous or asynchronous. Just because you're watching a lecture whenever you want and it's not at a certain meeting time doesn't mean that you shouldn't be looking at the material and the reading prior to doing it and then being active while that lecture is happening. Take it from me. Attending virtual conferences, it's super hard to stay engaged. You need to be active. You need to figure out what it is you need to do in order to stay paying attention to these Zoom recordings or however it is your instructor is teaching. And then you need to make it a point, not immediately, but within 24 hours to go back over that. Because if you wait any longer, so much interference. So many things have gone on in your brain, in and out and in and out and in and out, that it is going to be really hard for you to assess whether or not you knew that. It's probably going to feel like you didn't at all. So I'm going off on this little tangent right now because I want you to redo this assignment. I'm giving you the option to redo this assignment. If you don't take me up on it, then that is your choice and your grade remains the same. But that also tells me that you don't find what we're talking about very important. And I do think this is important, especially because you are all navigating your first semester of college during a very unprecedented time. So being organized, because you might have to share technology with family members, being organized about when you're going to do things because maybe you're in a house with other siblings who are little or old or loud or quiet, and quiet's not your thing, is important. You need to be organized, because being organized now is only going to create better habits for next semester in the future, right? So make sure your priorities are reflected in your daily schedule. You telling me that family is a priority, I'm not disagreeing with you, but if family is a priority, then I should see what you're doing with your family and your schedule. If you are a caregiver, you need to document that, because that is time that you don't have to work on your schoolwork. That is time that you don't have to surf social media, right? Um, you need to demonstrate that you understood what we talked about in the lecture. So that study cycle, I want to see that you are planning on being interactive with the content prior to the lecture. I want to see that you're taking some time and reviewing what the lecture taught. You don't have to tell me specifically what you're going to do. You don't have to tell me that you're going to read and highlight and then make flashcards after that. I just want to know that you're allowing time on both ends of the lecture to do something with that content. I want you to get in that habit. Okay. I have two examples that I want to show you really quickly, because I think these two students did a really good job. So you can see here that before and after, look at bio notes, bio lecture, go over bio notes, finish other classwork. Again, this person isn't being very specific about what they're doing, but they are making sure that in their schedule from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., they are allowing time to get on either side of that lecture and be active with the content. Same thing with this one here. The solid blocks are scheduled time in class, and then you can see that the color coding here, and by the way, I love color coding, associates with that. They're working on things before and after class for these classes. And I get you need to be flexible. Like maybe you're not an early riser and your first class is at 9:30, and that's early for you. Then you do the pre-lecture prep the night before, right? There's flexibility there. But I do want you to be specific about what classes you're doing this for, because that shows me that you're taking the time and putting the attention into it that I want you to, so that this becomes a habit. Okay. Quality work from this point forward. You should be turning in college level work, which means you're writing in complete sentences. You're capitalizing your I's. You're using punctuation. It's a little bit scary that that's not happening. And neat, you guys, some of the stuff that you're turning in, I can't read. And I taught high school for several years. That's crazy. If you can't, if just do your best to make it neat, work around it, take your time, slow down, don't do things at the last minute. All of the things that you've heard all of your teachers say before. This is the last time that I'm going to record a video like this, because I am not going to have to tell you to ask, or I'm not going to have to tell you to do quality work, college level work anymore. And I'm not going to allow you to resubmit. So from this point forward, grades are grades. It is what it is. So, okay, I'm done. I feel a little mommy right now, so I apologize. My kids are in bed, so they're not even getting it. Do you guys? Anyway, I know that each one of you is capable of being kick-ass in college, and I really, really believe that this class gives you the materials to make that happen. So I hope that you will take what I'm saying here and implement it and redo it. Last thing, if you choose to redo it, I need all of the assignments redone and re-uploaded by I should have figured this out before I started recording a video, guys. I'm really sorry. By Friday, September 25th at 11:59 p.m. So if you are taking me up on the redo, and anyone that got a 0 anywhere on the rubric should be taking me up on the redo. You have until Friday, September 25th at 11:59 p.m. to redo this assignment and re-upload it. Okay, have a good night, guys.